Hi guys, German Prepper here. I know for so many of you that the straightforward facts and information I present are what you most appreciate about this channel. I avoid conjecture and keep my opinions to a minimum so you can draw your own conclusions on where we are heading. That said, I have some very serious comments to add for you today. Here is your latest update. Guillaume Gontard, French senator and member of the Committee on Defence and Foreign Affairs, has made this terrifying statement on why the war between NATO and the Russian Federation must be escalated. The Russian war, which has already taken hundreds of thousands of lives, including many Ukrainian civilians, continues. Either we provide Ukraine with more advanced technological weapons, or the war will turn into a trench conflict, where much more soldiers will die. We must bear in mind that Russia has an advantage in human resources if the war lasts for several years. We, the ecologists, call for the adoption of this senatorial resolution on strengthening support for Ukraine in order to avoid prolonging this deadly war. Ukraine needs to be restored within its borders of 1991. We understand the fear of this war escalating, but unfortunately, there is no alternative. We must reinforce our military and financial support to Ukraine. We are asking the President of France to make a politically important decision on the supply of some of our Leclerc tanks to Ukraine. Also, now there is a question of providing Ukraine with aviation. Seeing the rational and sober approach of the Ukrainian Armed Forces General Staff and Ukrainian government, I believe that collectively we can provide Ukraine with aviation exclusively to protect its own territory. We call on our NATO partners to start discussions in this direction. The quote that really jumped out at me there, guys, is we understand the fear of this war escalating, but unfortunately there is no alternative. We'd all better keep that in mind when prepping from now on. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, has visited the United Kingdom to solicit aid and has won a pledge on training Ukrainian pilots on advanced NATO fighter jets. A massive step up in Western military support against the Russian Federation. Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, made this statement. Since 2014, the UK has provided vital training to Ukrainian forces, allowing them to defend their country, protect their sovereignty, and fight for their territory. I am proud that today we will expand that training from soldiers to Marines and fighter jet pilots, ensuring Ukraine has a military able to defend its interests well into the future. It also underlines our commitment to not just provide military equipment for the short term, but a long-term pledge to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine for years to come. So guys, let's be clear. We have progressed from helmets to guns to HIMARS to tanks to missiles, and now we approach jets. See my previous 2 utterly suppressed videos for what will likely be next after those. The Ministry of Defence of Lithuania has released this statement. The latest Lithuanian military aid for Ukraine is dozens of L-70 anti-aircraft vehicles with ammunition. For the last 2 weeks, Ukrainian instructors in Lithuania have been participating in training on how to man these guns. They will train even more Ukrainian operators once they return to the country. Lithuania is on the Russian Federation's border, guys. Their actions in avidly arming Ukraine, while simultaneously cracking down on their large minority Russian-speaking population in what many consider extremely undemocratic ways, is in my opinion a dangerous path to tread. Mircea Joanna, NATO Deputy Secretary-General, has met with Natalia Gavrilita, Prime Minister of Moldova, at NATO headquarters in Brussels. The meeting was reported to underscore NATO's commitment to deepening its partnership with the Republic of Moldova, with full respect for its independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. I've been warning for a very long time, guys, that if you live in Moldova, you must prepare for the conflict to come to you. This meeting and notification of NATO intent practically guarantees it. Germany has announced further military support for Ukraine this last week. Here is the quick tally. 2 self-propelled anti-aircraft guns, Gepard, including circa 6,000 rounds of ammunition, 5 border protection vehicles, 29 generators, 6 load handling trucks 15 ton, 6 mobile antenna mast systems, 10 roll-off containers. The United States, Britain and Australia are taking part in 3-week-long red flag exercises on joint air drills over the Nevada desert and beyond. It is reportedly an effort to simulate high-end combat operations against Chinese fighter aircraft and air defences. Key to the drills is addressing the vast distances that the United States, Britain and Australia would contend with when operating across the Pacific and improving interoperability of the three countries' air forces. Britain is contributing KC-2 Voyager refueling tanker aircraft and Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets, while Australia is adding EA-18G Growler aircraft to the exercises. Jared J. Hutchinson, Air Force Colonel and Commander of the 414th Combat Training Squadron that runs Red Flag, has stated, "China is just the pacing challenge that we train to so that we're ready. We think that if we're ready for China, we're ready for anybody." John Lyle, Air Commodore and Commander of the British RAF's Air Mobility Force, added a further statement. "So our role will be to support the force to effectively proceed into the area that's been occupied and to undertake targeting of key assets to allow us to degrade the enemy's capabilities." There we are then, guys. The conflict in Europe is growing exponentially, and now the West is preparing to take on China at the same time. A question for you all now to end. Our last 2 videos have been utterly suppressed. I would appreciate it if you could help the channel beat this restriction of reach by letting them run through again, and then let me know your thoughts on them in the comments section. As always, looking forward to reading your answers. If you can, please support the channel by taking membership. It really makes a difference. And if you are able, share this video. Keep prepping, guys. Cheers for now.